You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, Young and the Restless fans. It is Soap Dirt on YouTube, and today we want to talk about something on Young and the Restless. We want to talk about whether Sally Spectra is going to go dark now that she is spiraling in grief over losing her little baby daughter, Ava. We're going to dig into this in just a second, but hey, if you haven't already, please reach down, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our Young and the Restless spoilers, updates, casting news, promos, predictions, all the stuff you want to know. So right now we're seeing this distraught Sally Spectra. She lost her baby and she had no control over the situation because she passed out. Her placenta had abrupted, which means it like tears loose of the wall of your uterus, which means you're hemorrhaging, you're bleeding out. So it was definitely life or death for her. The baby was not viable from what Adam was told by Dr. Dawson, because the baby's lungs had not developed that much. We know that they can save preemies from pretty early on, but it also really depends on how their lungs are doing. And this is the route that Y&R is going, so we just have to go with that, to where basically Adam was told that the baby's not going to survive anyway, so is it Sally or should we try to save the baby? And he said, save Sally. He is not apologetic about that. He said he would make the same choice again. Sally is in turn blaming him for waking up and finding out that her daughter had died. So I feel like there's a good chance that Sally Spectra could go darker than we've ever seen her. I don't know if you also watch Bold and the Beautiful, but Sally Spectra is a transplant from over there. She is the namesake of the OG Sally Spectra, who was a character that was on in like the 80s and 90s, who owned Spectra Fashions, which competed with Forrester Creations and was kind of a low-rent operation, sometimes stole designs. And her aunt, Sally Spectra, ran the company. And so Sally's backstory over on Bold and the Beautiful was that she was the niece of the original and iconic Sally Spectra. Her parents were carnies and drifters, and so her aunt raised Sally and her sister Coco Spectra. And their parents had been in jail. They were neglectful. They were just awful parents. Sally she has this really, really terrible backstory. And so a lot of times on Bold and even some now on Y&R, they've stayed somewhat consistent with her character, where she doesn't want to be alone. She can't stand the idea of people leaving her or losing people, okay, because of all the loss she's had and the lack of parental love and support. So back when she was on Bold, the plot that sent her off of Bold and saw her transition over onto Y&R is that she was faking a fatal illness. Her boyfriend, Wyatt Spencer, had broken up with her because he said she lied to him. But then he took up with this ratty girl named Flo Fulton, who was a lying, baby-stealing baby seller. I won't go into the whole plot, but if Sally, on the scale of 0 to 10 being, most shady, 10 being most shady, Sally's maybe a 5. Flo is like an 8.5. And it was nonsensical, and clearly they were just looking to write Sally off of B&B. So she was faking this fatal illness to try and keep him with her. And then I think she tried to get pregnant. And then at one point she also kidnapped, everybody calls her Felony Flo because she's committed so many felonies, kidnapped Felony Flo to try and get her out of the way. So needless to say, when all that came out, it did not work out for her and Wyatt. And a lot of people felt like that B&B did not use her character very well. Then they bring her over to Y&R, and they've used her wonderfully well, as far as I'm concerned. I liked the actress, and I did like the genesis of the character over on B&B, but they've really worked wonders with her over on Y&R. But even when she first started on Young the Restless, if you guys remember, she was a schemer. She had decided that she wanted to be with Jack, even though he was not age appropriate for her at all. She was very actively pursuing him. At the same time, she was also targeting people that were critics of her and Jack and that were standing in the way of her ambitions. And one of those people was Summer Newman. You may remember that Sally worked with Kyle's crazy baby mama, Tara Locke, and they were targeting Summer to get her her out of the way so that Tara could have Kyle, Sally could have Jack, and Sally could have Summer's job. The way that Sally went about targeting Summer was technically kind of benevolent because she approached Eric Forrester from over on B&B and basically got Summer that cushy job at Marquette. So she didn't get her fired, she got her promoted out of the way. So if someone's going to target you, you at least got to appreciate that, right? So all that came out and, you know, Sally was fired and she was kind of blackballed. And then she's been working her way back into Genoa City's good graces. And a lot of people have definitely forgiven her and looked past everything. So right now, though, she is at rock bottom. I would say she's probably at the lowest point she's been in her life. Sally loved that little baby that she was cooking in her belly, and she is so distraught. And she'd be distraught if the baby died either way, but she maybe is more distraught because the decision was taken away from her. She feels like Adam robbed her, even though Adam is grieving an equivalent loss. He is grieving the loss of their baby. I know it's slightly different because as a woman, you grow the babies in your body, but still, it was Adam's baby as well, and he is grieving as well. And Nick Newman is absolutely defending Adam to Sally and saying he made the right choice. I would have made that same choice. And so I think that's going to eat at Sally. Like, she feels like that Nick is maybe siding with Adam, even though Nick said, I love you. I want you to move in with me after you get out of the hospital. I tend to think that Sally is going to come unhinged. And how will that manifest itself? Let's talk about it. We've got 4 ideas. But first, if you haven't already, reach down, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our Young and the Restless spoilers and updates. So first, maybe Sally will take revenge on Adam, blaming him for their baby daughter's death. Remember who her best friend is. Her best friend is Chloe Mitchell. If you go to our Young and the Restless playlist, we just did a video on whether Chloe and Sally will bond over blaming Adam for killing their daughters, because Adam ran down, accidentally, but he ran down Delia Abbott, Chloe's daughter, and her daughter died as a result of that hit and run. To his credit, Adam didn't know he hit anyone, but then he engaged in a cover-up after it all happened. And so it was messy, and Chloe hates his guts. And now Sally hates his guts. So will they hate his guts together, and will they target him? We'll see. Maybe Sally will scheme to get pregnant by Nick because she wants a rainbow baby. She wants a baby to replace Ava. And I don't know if Nick is going to be up to making another baby right now. You know, we'll see. He does like kids and he does tend to impregnate a lot of women. So maybe she will just start low-key scheming again in general, or maybe Sally will spiral in a really dark way, drink, drugs, gambling, whatnot, you know, go super dark. I love Sally Spectra, and I want to see her stay around, and I think that they are giving Courtney Hope extremely good material, Emmy award-winning material, and I think if they put her on a dark path, that she will have that trophy in her hand next year. Let us know what you think in the comments below.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.